All right. Since we're speaking about exponents, let's talk about something that does pop up a little bit more often in exponents. Suppose that you are asked to multiply x squared times x cubed. Okay? What do? Most of my students will say, oh, Mr. Lake, you just add up the exponents. Correct. X to the fifth. But then I ask them why. And they go, I don't know. That's what I was taught in school. Exactly. Here's how you think about it. Just use common sense. You don't need rules. X squared means x times x times x times x times x. That means x multiplied by itself 5 times. Okay? Simple as that. You don't need any rule. It's common sense. Suppose you had x squared all cubed. That's different. Again, common sense. You don't need the rule. If I ask my students, they'd say, well, you multiply, Mr. Lee, x to the 6th. I say, well, very good, you do. That's correct. But why? And they go, that's what I was taught. Well, it's true, but here's how you understand it. You think about it, math is not about equations and formulas, really. What math is, and that's what most people think, what it really is about is thinking accurately and correctly about numbers. That's really what math is. Formulas and equations are what you get after you've done the thinking. So it's better to do the thinking first, and then you just use the formulas and equations as tools. Because if all you know is the formulas and equations, and you don't understand why they work, then you really don't know how to use them, because you wouldn't know when to use them, right? You'd be haphazardly trying formulas and equations. It's really about understanding. So, and fortunately on the ACT, everything can be understood using common sense. That's the beauty of it. So x squared cubed means, it tells you, the notation tells you what to do. It says take x squared and multiply it by itself 3 times. And then this tells you x times x multiplied times 2 more, so 2, 4, 6 x's. And that's your answer. Okay? So think of it in common sense terms, just looking at what the notation tells you to do, and then you don't have to worry about the rules for the exponents. Similarly, when you're dividing, if you have x to the 8th over x squared, what is it? Is it x to the 6th? Do you subtract, or is it x to the 4th? Do you divide? Now, my students will say to me, I think you subtract, Mr. Leake. And I say, yes, you're right. The answer is x to the 6th. And they say, well, why? And they go, oh, well, that's what we learned in school. So again, just do what the notation tells you. It says to multiply x 8 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and divide it by 2 x's multiplied together. So what would you do? Well, you would cancel or divide 2 x's up and down, and that would leave you with, sure enough, 6. And that's your answer. Okay? Common sense.